I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. I can't sleep cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is October 15th, 2025, 1:30 a.m. Got off work. Pretty chill night. Literally chill. I was in cooler most of the night. It wasn't too bad. About 4 or 5 hours in cooler. I need to shave. I'll probably do that here in a little bit. It was a little bit weird though. So this little motherfucker from the mental home down the street. We got a Methodist mental home down the street. It's a boys' home. And this kid, this is literally the 5th time that he has escaped from that boys' home with a new kid. I don't know, man. He's got a silver tongue because every time he comes in, he's got a new kid or a new gang with him. And so this other kid walked in. Long hair, battle boots, black skinny jeans, wearing a Friday the 13th hoodie. And just cheesing, acting stupid. Went over to the drink cooler. And as soon as he went over to the drink cooler, I start looking in the parking lot and I'm like, there's no cars here. And then he leaves. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then the kid who escaped from the home and has been into our gas station like 4 or 5 fucking times literally came in, and as soon as I seen his face, I said, you gotta go. I just started yelling, you gotta get the fuck out of here. The customer I was waiting on was like, whoa. I'm like, nah, dude, I know your face. I said, you've been here 4 times. You've been kicked out 4 times and trespassed. Get the fuck out of my store. Luckily, he left, so nothing got stolen. And then as soon as he left, I called the fucking cops. I'm like, I hate to be a rat, but dude, this is like the 4th time you've been in my fucking store, man. Get the fuck out of here. But that's the craziness of Clark's, man. It's the craziness of working night shift at a gas station. Nicholasville, Kentucky. You gotta love it. So, as you guys know, October, I usually cover spooky Halloween-related stuff. I'd never even heard of this fucking series. I just seen the trailer the other day. And apparently it's on season 3. And everyone I've been talking to hasn't heard of it either. So somehow everybody missed this fucking shit. I don't know if life has been too crazy, but so there was a Dahmer series that came out. Let me put a shoe on. There was a Dahmer series that came out a year or 2 ago, and it was a Netflix series. I know, Netflix blows, and it sucks, and it's like pedophilic. I wanted to get rid of it after Cuties, but I do like Stranger Things. And by the way, Stranger Things has got a new series, so maybe we'll talk about that one day. And the reason why I talk about Netflix series and shit is because, like, the ones that I like to watch are based off of, like, quote-unquote true events. Like, Stranger Things is based off the Montauk Project. I've actually covered it on a whole episode. We covered kind of like a Stranger Things review, and we covered the Montauk Project. So there's a new Ed Gein series that's out, and apparently it's been out for a while, but me and Sammy had watched the Dahmer one. It's made by the same creators as the Dahmer one. And I fucking loved the Dahmer one because, for one, people say it humanizes Dahmer, humanized the serial killer, and I'm like, No, you should see that there's a human side of these people because Dahmer was a human being. I'm not saying that everything that he did was like good or something, but like people forget that these people are human beings and products of our society, they're products of our culture. Like there's nothing wrong like with seeing someone and going, "Oh, that used to be a human." Like I think we should see that there is human like people. I don't know. There's a really good movie called Monster about Eileen Wuornos, and it's a really good movie because it kind of shows you like, like just because they're psychos, there is someone, there's still a human there. Like I don't know. Go watch the Ian Watkins episode I put out recently, and I kind of talk about the whole sick puppy reference of a dog with rabies that needs to be put down. But anyways, one other thing that I did like about the Dahmer series that they put out was it was one of the very few docu-series that actually mentioned the occult ritual side of Dahmer's murders and torture and the whole zombie golem making process and shit. That was the only time that I've seen it like in a mainstream documentary. I'm like, holy shit. And it was just like a couple seconds. They kind of show like his little bone throne that he was building and his little altar and the aspects of The Exorcist 3 and I mean, they didn't go as far as into like showing him Dahmer making crushed bone magic circles in his backyard, but it got pretty deep on the occult side of it that no one wants to seem to mention in the true crime community. So, and by the way, I just said that movie, the Eileen Wuornos movie, was called Monster. I cannot tell you how many fucking true crime movies and or documentaries are called Monster. Can we stop calling them Monster? Because it's kind of hard to find the actual documentary or movie that I want to see because they're all called fucking Monster. So, no offense, you kind of suck on naming your series that. But when is Monster Season 3 coming out? All about the next chapter starring Charlie Hunnam as serial killer Ed Gein. And we've never done like a whole deep dive on Ed Gein. I would like to because we do cover true crime on this channel. But, yeah. And by the way, he actually does, obviously he's more handsome and a better jawline, but he actually does look decently like Ed Gein. He's got the whole lazy eye and shit. In Season 3 of Ryan Murphy's anthology series Monster, Charlie Hunnam portrays infamous murderer and grave robber Ed Gein. Monster Season 3 is just a few weeks away from haunting viewers everywhere. The Netflix anthology series, created by Ryan Murphy, is returning for its third installment following 2 seasons that brought new attention to Jeffrey Dahmer's horrifying killing spree and crimes against Eric and Lyle Menendez. And by the way, they kind of ended the Dahmer series. They kind of brought in, not Ed Gein, but they brought in John Wayne Gacy towards the end. So I think they're just going to start making series on all of them. If you guys remember, they kind of teased a Gacy series. This time, the show will focus on one of America's most chilling serial killers of all time, Ed Gein, with Charlie Hunnam in the leading role. Season 3 will dive into the haunting story of the notorious 1950s murderer who not only took multiple lives but also exhumed graves to create household and clothing items and human remains. Which, by the way, Leatherface is based off of Ed Gein and also Buffalo Bill. I'd fuck me. We'll have to do like a little deep dive on that. Adapting Gein's narrative into the next Monster series was not an easy decision, Murphy told Tudum. I only quote I only write things or direct things that I'm interested in exploring, sometimes to figure things out for myself, so it's personal to me what I make, the showrunner said, adding that it took him a long time to land on Ed Gein for the third season. Okay, never mind. So it's a series called Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. So I seen that one, and then Ed Gein is the third one. Okay, so the second season is Eric and Lyle Menendez, the Menendez brother, which we did cover them a tiny bit within my podcast career. That they're actually connected to P. Diddy is interesting as it sounds. So I did watch season 1. I haven't seen this one though. So this next season will be Ed Gein. Okay. How did I miss the Menendez one? That's interesting. The installments have been a streaming success since the series debuted in September 2022 with season 1, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Made history as one of only 4 Netflix shows to surpass 1 billion viewing hours in its first 60 days. Meanwhile, season 2, Monsters, the Eric and Lyle Menendez brothers story, followed suit, dominating Netflix top 100 for weeks after its September 2024 release. Which, by the way, I covered the Menendez brothers on an episode, and I'll link it below if you're listening on Spotify. If you're listening on YouTube, I don't know what to tell you. Go sub to me on Spotify, man. And if you're listening on Spotify, go sub to me on YouTube. By the way, I'm trying to reach 500 subs, so sub to me on YouTube in general. I'm probably going to skip over the Menendez brother one. Not that I don't care, because it is an interesting story. I've listened to, I'm a big fan of Last Podcast on the Left, Little Stinkers. I think it's called Small Town Murder. They're pretty good. Brohio podcast. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, but I'm just honestly I'm not that too interested in the Menendez story. I've listened to multiple episodes on it, series on it. It just depends on who's telling me the story, you know. But I mean, I might check it out, but probably not. I am gonna probably definitely check out this Ed Gein one though. So, here's everything to know about season 3 of Monster, starring Charlie Hunnam as Ed Gein. What is Monster season 3 about? See, I was a little confused at the intro. I was like, wait, they're already on season 3 of this Ed Gein series? I didn't realize that it was connected. I mean, I knew it was connected with the Dahmer one, but I didn't realize that it was that's what they're doing, is they're just making, each serial killer gets their own season, which is cool. They need to do the John Wayne Gacy one then, since they teased him on season 1. The third installment of the Netflix anthology series will tell the real-life story of serial killer and grave robber Ed Gein and his years-long murder spree. Like the other installments in the Monster anthology, Season 3 will likely focus on how Gein became the maniacal murderer he was, starting with his Plainfield, Wisconsin origins. Gein was born in 1906 to an alcoholic father and an allegedly fanatical, puritanical mother, according to MGM Plus docuseries Psycho, The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein, which is true. I do know that's why he was kind of weird. I know that he was really big on reading pulp fiction, as far as true crime pulp fiction, where it kind of dabbles into sexuality and stuff. I've heard his childhood. Norman Bates was based off of Ed Gein also. And if you know the story of like Norman Bates, yeah, it's not good. Like his mom was super puritanical, and that's why he ended up being like a sexual deviant and all that jazz. His mother, who will be played by Roseanne's Laurie Metcalf. So you were an actress from Roseanne, Laurie Metcalf. Let's see. The aunt. The aunt from Roseanne is going to play Ed Gein's mom. Okay, I dig it. Because you guys know me, I'm a huge fan of Roseanne Barr. And yeah, I've always liked the aunt. She's cool as fuck. Allegedly forbade Gein from interacting with most of society, believing it to be evil. As a result, the docuseries claimed that Gein became incredibly dependent on and idolizing her, causing him to spiral and become a recluse after her 1945 death. Soon after, he developed a disturbing interest in dead bodies. So, I've said this 1,001 times on this channel, dude. You cannot sit here and shelter your fucking children. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Your children are gonna go fucking nuts. And people are like, Abe, you're crazy. Abe, you're wild, man. You know, like, people tell me how shitty of a person I am or how crazy I am. And it's like, yeah, because my parents sheltered the fuck out of me. Not placing complete blame on them, but it's like, that had something to do with it. You cannot sit here and shelter your kid too much. I understand being protective. I get it. But do you want your kid digging up graves and, you know, wearing your face one day? Just saying. Gein's gruesome crimes have also inspired films including Psycho, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Silence of the Lambs, which I just told you all three of those were based off of Gein. Serial killer, grave robber, Psycho, in the frozen fields of 1950s Royal, Wisconsin. A friendly, mild-mannered recluse named Eddie Gein lived quietly on a decaying farm, hiding a house of horrors so gruesome it would redefine the American nightmare, says a synopsis of the series via Tudum. Driven by isolation, psychosis, so he suffered from psychosis. Uh-oh! I never suffered from that. And an all-consuming obsession with his mother. Gein's perverse crimes birthed a new kind of monster that would haunt Hollywood for decades. Who was Ed Gein? So here's an actual picture of Ed Gein. That's what I'm saying, dude. The actor, man, he actually, obviously, he's more handsome, which Hollywood doing its artistic license. Looks pretty accurate though. I think they did a good job with Dahmer too. With season 1, with the Dahmer one, he was pretty spot on. He obviously the same exact thing. He was more handsome, but he looked pretty close to Dahmer. Gein became an infamous serial killer in the 1950s. Let me fix the camera a little bit. When authorities discovered he had not only committed multiple murders, but also exhumed graves from a nearby cemetery, using human remains to craft household items and clothing. The Wisconsin native initially filled his home with body parts including genitalia. I do know that he had a nipple belt, which I'm not gonna lie, like, obviously I wouldn't wear a human nipple belt, but that is kind of like, you guys know me, I was a horror punk singer. That is kind of fucking metal, dude. That's dark as fuck. Like, not saying I'd do it, but it is, like, kind of dope. Wearing a nipple belt. if the women volunteered their nipples, it is breast cancer awareness month. So like, if they volunteered their nipples to me, I would wear a nipple belt. I think that'd be cool. The Wisconsin native initially filled his house with body parts, including genitalia, fueling theories of necrophilia. His crimes escalated to murder, and in 1957 he was arrested after killing local hardware store owner Bernice Warden. I think he only murdered women too, which makes sense. I mean, if you delve into the psychology of it, that his mom was super overbearing, super controlling, super puritanical. Gein was convicted of both murdering Warden and Mary Hogan, who had vanished years earlier. Her head was later found in his home, linking him to her death. He also became the prime suspect in his brother's mysterious death in 1944. Well, never mind. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I guess he might allegedly have murdered his brother. But the head part reminds me of, obviously, Silence of the Lambs, which was based off of Ed Gein. Didn't she find like a woman's head at one point when she was in Buffalo Bill's like basement and shit? Do you all remember that shit? I wonder, like, obviously that had to have been inspired, if not based off of that, you know? A police raid uncovered gruesome evidence, including skulls, decapitated heads, and body parts, earning Gein the nicknames the Butcher of Plainfield and the Plainfield Ghoul. That reminds me of Misfits, the I want your skull, I need your skull. I'll feed you here in a minute, child. Though found guilty, Gein was deemed insane and unfit for trial, spending the remainder of his life in mental institutions. Which, by the way, after like looking and studying Gein for years, just out of curiosity, I do think that was definitely a suitable sentence for him, that he was definitely unfit for trial. In 1984, he died of lung cancer at 77 years old. So I am curious. I think he did smoke cigarettes, so it wouldn't surprise me. Who is in the cast of Monster Season 3? So you got Hunnam, who is best known for his role as Jax Teller in FX Sons of Anarchy. Oh, okay, that's where I know him from. Yeah. Now that I see his face, yep. Okay. Will star as serial killer and grave robber Gein. The actor is joined by Metcalf. I know a bunch of Metcalfs. Who will appear as Gein's mother, which we talked about. Roseanne, the auntie in Roseanne. Meanwhile, Pride and Prejudice's Tom Hollander will portray Alfred Hitchcock. So, Tom Hollander. Alfred Hitchcock. Oh, yeah, duh, Psycho. So, yeah, I'm guessing they're going to get into Alfred Hitchcock, too. That's pretty fucking cool, because Psycho was Ed Gein's... Okay, Norman Bates was the first time that Ed Gein was based off of... that a character was based off of Ed Gein. So, Norman Bates was the first, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the second, and then Buffalo Bill was the third. As far as basing a character off of an actual historical serial killer. So it sounds like probably towards the end of the series they're going to be like bringing Alfred Hitchcock, and okay, that's cool as fuck. And Dune Prophecy, Olivia Williams. Ooh, a Williams, okay. Will take on the role of Alma Reville, Hitchcock's wife. Cool. Variety later confirmed that Susanna Son, Vicky Creeps, nice last name, Leslie Manville, Joey Pirali, Charlie Hall, Tyler Jacob Moore. Ooh, you look just like Buddy Holly. And you're Mary Tyler Moore. I wonder if he's related to Mary Tyler Moore. Mimi Kennedy, nice, a Kennedy in there. Wonder if they're related to JFK and RFK. Will Brill and Robert Weigart have also joined the cast. As shown in the trailer, Addison Rae also appears in the series. So, when did Monster Season 3 begin filming? Filming for Season 3 of Monster began in November 2024. Excited fans got a sneak peek of Hunnam dressed as Gein on set, complete with trousers, a plaid shirt, a jacket, and a comb-over hairstyle. When will Monster Season 3 come out? In August 2025. So it's out now. I need to watch it, dude, so that way I can review it. Netflix announced that the third season of the series will premiere on October 3rd, 2025. So earlier this month, about 2 weeks ago, it came out. Seasons 1 and 2 of the series are available on Netflix. I missed Season 2. Season 1 tells the story of Dahmer, which I told you. Season 2 follows Menendez brothers, teenagers convicted of killing their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. So the only comment is one guy, and it says, Emmy, next year. Alright, so what do you guys think? I mean, I've never covered Ed Gein in general. I need to do a whole deep dive on Ed Gein, but I know this is like, I don't know. To me, like, anytime I try to do a Conspiracy Corner episode, I try to do it based off of some form of reality. And this is based off of a true crime. This is like an actual serial killer. I'm a fan of this series. I haven't seen season 2. But I am stoked about this one. As soon as I seen the trailer, I'm like, oh my god, boo-boo, we gotta watch this shit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Would you guys like me to do a deep dive on Ed Gein? Because that'd be cool. If not, we could honestly just even do a deep dive on Buffalo Bill and Leatherface and Norman Bates, and kind of see maybe we could find some good info on just Hollywood in general. Not so much idolizing this person, but making this person famous in general, as far as like keeping the story going with artistic license, if that makes sense, because you guys know how Hollywood is. But please like, share, and subscribe. I'm currently playing The Hobbit right now, so I will be doing a review on it soon. I'm getting pretty decently far in it. I did a review on Ghost Rider last. But yeah. And let me know what you guys think just about everything going on in general lately. I'm almost up to 500 subscribers on YouTube, so please like, share, and subscribe. I've been working at this for a decade. I would like to get 500 subs, so that way I can get monetized and I can start paying for stuff like business cards, you know, notebooks, all that jazz. I'm trying to get this going, because the sooner that I can start making money on this channel, the sooner that I can start helping people out. And you guys know me, I would actually show the receipts and shit and be like, hey, you know, oh, so-and-so needs a $300 car. Well, I made $500 on my podcast this week. I can go buy them a clunker, you know, a $300 car. I could start giving back to the community and shit. But I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe, and God bless.